apart. North the Port is brought to you by themusicclass.is. The Music Class. Don't just play, be a musician.
Walls are coming down. Don't have to pretend for the moment.
That was For the Moment by Jared Osborne. I'm Jack Merriweather, and you're weathering the storm with me on WFRE 106.1 FM. Just as I promised before the break, we're in studio with special guest North the Port. Thanks for stopping by, Barbara and Matt.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, Jack.
Let's see. You guys are in town for a show at Worth Street tonight. Am I right about that?
That's right. Show starts at 8 p.m.
Now, this isn't just an ordinary show, is it?
No.
Not that any of your shows are ordinary.
Of course not.
Thanks.
So, what's it all about?
Well, tonight we're participating in a fundraiser for an awesome organization called the Innocence Project.
So, what's that all about?
So the Innocence Project is basically a group of lawyers.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know. Normally you hear a group of lawyers and right off the bat you just run away.
Like, there's no need to find out any more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they travel in herds, litigating their way from town to town, and everyone that gets in their way. Shoot, I've just been subpoenaed.
But that's not what this is at all. It's good, I promise.
Sure. Go on. Tell us what it's all about.
So the Innocence Project is a group of lawyers, like I said, and they are dedicated to exonerating wrongfully convicted and imprisoned people.
Oh.
And they do it by using modern testing techniques like DNA testing. Then they help reform the criminal justice system through the courts to try to prevent future wrongful imprisonment.
That sounds real helpful. Very unlawyerly.
See, they can use their superpowers for good.
They're silver tongues of exoneration.
Yeah, in all seriousness, though, it's definitely a force for good. They helped free, hundreds of wrongfully imprisoned people, some of them locked away for decades.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't imagine being locked up for years for a crime I didn't commit. How do you even make it?
I'm not sure I could.
Yeah, me neither. And many of these people were in prison before DNA testing was even understood, never mind widely used in the justice system.
Do you know when DNA testing began?
Well, I think the first case in the U.S. to use DNA was 1986, so about 30 years ago. But of course it took a while for it to be common.
You sure know a lot about this stuff.
She does.
True. There are plenty of causes to support, but I think I can speak for Matt on this too.
Please do.
This one holds particular significance for us.
Why? Do you know someone?
Well, in general, if you think about it, we only have one life to live, and it's pretty short. The thought of any innocent person getting their freedom taken away for any length of time is terribly sad. It's just unjust is the best word I can think of.
No doubt. But it just seems you guys are way passionate about it.
Yeah.
There is a personal connection. You're right about that, Jack.
Seemed like that may be the case.
Yeah, well... So, Jack, the first woman I ever loved, Abriel, she had a bit of a troubled upbringing. She came from a good home and everything, but just sort of rebelled. She was a bit anti-establishment. Nothing too out of the ordinary, though.
Sounds pretty normal teenage girl type stuff.
I think so for the most part, but she'd do things she knew her parents would not be pleased over on purpose. And she'd do the same with me. She'd do things she thought would make me disappointed. Not sure that's the right word. Concerned, maybe.
Should make you concerned for her well-being?
Yeah.
Well, what would she do?
Things like smoking or drinking a little or something. I wasn't into any of that stuff. And before we met, she got kicked out of school for using drugs. So because of her history, when I noticed self-sabotaging behavior, I was concerned.
Most caring people would be. She was your girlfriend.
But the thing is, she would do it and then get caught on purpose.
No way.
Yeah. It's like she wanted to feel guilty, and basically she'd put herself in a position where she'd be punished, be it from her parents or me disapproving.
She had a lot of guilt.
Yeah, it's crazy how most people are raised guilty.
They are.
And not to tangent too far, but guilt is such a wasted emotion.
I don't know about that, Matt. Don't you think it helps to keep people from doing the wrong thing?
Not at all. Guilt is a completely unproductive emotion. To feel guilt, you have to believe in the idea that you're bad. And on some level, if you think you're bad, It's paralyzing.
Right. If you're a bad person to your core, it would take so much effort to change, and maybe you can't even change. I mean, how do you change your principal makeup?
I don't know.
Might not be possible. So if you actually believe you're a bad person, which is what the feeling of guilt gives you, what's the point in trying to change? This is just who you are.
I see.
Because it makes you focus on who you are, you're not focusing on the actual problem.
Well, what's the actual problem?
Your actions are the problem.
Oh, I get it.
And that is where remorse comes in.
But wait, isn't that the same?
Oh, no, not at all.
Remorse is a productive feeling. Remorse denotes that I've done something that's hurt someone, and it's something that I know goes against my values.
And because it targets an action or behavior, you can change those things, and it doesn't mean you're a terrible person.
Yeah. It's like, say, we had a history, you and me, Jack, and we hadn't seen each other in a while, but the last time we talked, you were kind of a tool bag.
That's not too far of a stretch, honestly.
And now, every once in a while, when we do run into each other, like, say, in a coffee shop, for instance, you can't deal and you just leave, hoping I haven't seen you. You're feeling guilt, but what you should try to feel is remorse.
Oh, I get it. Guilt makes the situation just stale bones, like I'm paralyzed from doing anything about it.
Yes.
Exactly.
But if you felt remorse, you might take the necessary steps to resolve the situation.
Cool. So Abriel felt a lot of guilt?
She did, and it was crappy. At the time, I was pretty young. I didn't get all this, but as I processed it, I see vividly how destructive guilt was for her.
I believe that. What happened with her?
Well, one night we were together, and she was completely ignoring me. She'd do this. She'd do something she knew I wouldn't be happy with, and then she wouldn't talk to me. It was very strange, just out of the blue, like, hey, how's it going? Then crickets, no response.
What did she do?
This was, I think she smoked a cigarette. Not a criminal offense, but she knew I wouldn't like it. So she wasn't talking to me, which led to a fight. And mind you, I didn't know what was happening. I was just concerned that she wasn't talking to me, like I'd done something to piss her off.
You didn't find out until later, right?
Right. I found out later she wasn't talking to me because she smoked and whatever. So the tragedy is we fought and we were out at a restaurant and I just left her there.
You bailed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked her up. So I was driving and I just got ticked off. I put some cash down on the table and left. Took my car, went home, and she was stranded.
Perhaps an overreaction, but not unforgivable.
No, but I regret it because then AHBL.
AHBL?
Yeah.
What's that?
All hell broke loose.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Still a bit fuzzy, right?
Well, Abriel says she called an old friend. Summer was her name. Now, Summer was part of her group of old friends that she used to party with when she got kicked out of school. And unfortunately, she doesn't remember much more about that night.
She doesn't?
No.
No, I think Gabriel just wanted to let off some steam and kind of, I don't know, maybe get back at me a bit by doing something she knew I wouldn't approve of.
Well, that's a great cycle to be in.
I know. So she did some drugs. Later on, we found out she had cocaine, some pot, maybe some other things in her bloodstream. Definitely too much alcohol, too. So she blacked out, and the cops found her passed out in Summer's car.
Dude, that is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's worse is that night, the crew she was with decided to rob a drugstore.
No way, you're kidding.
No, I wish I were. It was closed, and they broke in, but there was a cleaning person there, and one of them had a gun.
Very drugstore cowboy.
Yeah. Well, the street value of prescription drugs is huge. I mean, prescription drugs, it's basically a monopoly. So black market drugs can fetch a lot of money. The whole thing's terrible.
So was Abriel there?
I don't think so. The problem was there was blood in the car and blood on her, and she has no recollection of any of this. Now, I can't believe there's any way, even under the influence, that she would take part in such a thing. She was young and scared, and they threatened her with a murder charge.
Didn't her crew step up and tell the cops she wasn't with them?
No, these people are dirtbags. They basically threatened her family if she talked.
So she took a plea.
She took a plea, which gave her 10 years. You know, in retrospect, I would have recommended she fight it, but we were young, and when you're threatened with life imprisonment, it's hard not to take the deal.
True. Did you guys stay in touch?
For a while. But you know, life moves on, and to be honest, I've got some guilt around that night.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have left her, and since I can't change that, what I can do is try to help cool organizations like the Innocence Project get innocent people out of jail. And I'm just grateful my partner here, Barbara, is hip to helping out too.
Of course.
Yeah, Barbie, you seem pretty supportive about the whole thing.
Well, Matt's my people, and his people are my people too.
Oh, thanks. You're the best.
The Innocence Project sounds like a great cause and something you're very passionate about.
It is.
Yes.
So it's going to be an awesome show tonight. Thanks for stopping by and chatting.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
Now, here's their new hit single, I Don't Want to Give Up on You, by North to Port on WFRE, free radio for you and me.
I don't wanna give up on you, but that is not an independent thought, or a line that I can't just ignore. I'm through the wall, and through accepting it. I don't wanna give up on it, but where we go is solely up to you. It's a strobe of alternating light and shadows, the echoed canopy. Start from zero sum when the both of us need another win. There was once a register we kept, a tally, desperate elements.
Wait, you're still here? Wow. Well, thanks for listening. And now that you got a second, if you're interested in supporting us, consider writing a positive review of our podcast on iTunes, or even purchasing the North to Port record in digital format, of course, from northtoport.com. Thanks again from Barbie and me.